Hello, I'm Allison Seymour. Welcome to The Color of STEM. Here at The Color of STEM, we realize that there is a crucial need to increase public awareness of the importance of science and engineering, particularly in the minority community. We have to begin to celebrate STEM careers and STEM stars the same way we celebrate Hollywood celebrities, professional athletes, and entertainers. That's what we do. The YWCA Greater Pittsburgh Homewood Brushton Center believes that quality early learning leads to success in school and a lifetime of opportunity. The Y provides early development and education in the area of STEM for children as early as 4 and 5 years old, starting them early. That and more when we return.
The Color of STEM is powered by iSTEM, cultivating ideas into solutions. The USA Science and Engineering Festival, the nation's largest celebration of STEM. And the ARL Network. The Color of STEM is more than television, it's a movement.
Hi, my name is William Hill, and I'm a software engineer at Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory. Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics comes in all colors.
Like us on Facebook. For more information on The Color of STEM, go to our website, www.thecolorofstem.com.
Savannah State University is rising to this challenge, developing progressive, knowledgeable, and skilled graduates uniquely qualified to tackle the needs of the global marketplace.
My dream is to be an automotive engineer.
My dream is to eventually work for the CIA.
I came to Savannah State to pursue my dreams to be a doctor.
My dream is to become a producer.
Since I was a child, I always dreamed of being a successful businesswoman on the global level.
The university fosters learning and personal growth in a student-centered environment that celebrates our African American legacy while nurturing a diverse student body.
Savannah State is a hidden jewel simply because we have a very high quality standard of education here.
Accredited by the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools, SSU offers 5 graduate and 26 undergraduate degrees. We tell our students they can get anywhere from here, and you can be part of that journey.
Welcome back to The Color of STEM. The Color of STEM continues.
Our Color of STEM team attended the Sustainable Energy for All Forum in Brooklyn, New York, a landmark gathering celebrating the global sustainable energy movement.
Today we're at the first day of the Sustainable Energy for All Forum in Brooklyn, New York, where something like 1,000 business leaders, government leaders, and civil society leaders are coming together to talk about the clean energy movement. This is the Sustainable Energy for All Forum, right? So we're really interested in this being a holistic conversation where people from different countries, from different sectors of industry, from different perspectives are coming together and really having the important conversation. So it was a really big part of our planning to make sure that we were bringing delegates and speakers from the Global North and the Global South together here today in Brooklyn to make sure that the right conversations were taking place. When you talk to young people, they get it. The issues around sustainable development, the issues around climate change are very near and dear to their hearts, and they're very passionate, and they're going to be the leaders that we're going to need in the future. So we've made sure that we have a really big diversity of delegates and a really rich diversity of delegates, including having a lot of young people here because we need their vitality and their energy and their vision.
Meet the ladies with a vision, the Solar Sisters. They believe in a world where women, girls, and their communities should have access to the sustainable energy they need to create a prosperous life.
Yeah, we are Solar Sisters. We work across Africa to address extreme energy poverty by empowering women as Solar Sister entrepreneurs. Solar Sister entrepreneurs are change makers, working in their communities to bring a range of solar lighting, phone charging, and clean cooking solutions. And and we exist because we feel we cannot address sustainable energy for all issues without making sure that women are part of the solutions.
We run a very data-centric model focusing on what are the impacts of our investments in communities and making sure those impacts are maximized and that they're sustainable. And so a key tenet of Solar Sister is reaching last mile communities that haven't been reached by current market approaches. So over 90% of our customers are in last mile rural communities. We like to say the last inch of the last mile. When we get to those customers who are dependent largely on kerosene and other harmful forms of energy through a women's entrepreneurship model, which helps our women increase their income. They also gain agency and they are able to increase their decision-making power and work with their communities as leaders and green leaders in their communities.
We work with leaders. We work with policymakers, CEOs, the leaders of civil society groups, and what we're doing is helping them to focus their work so that they can have the greatest impact in the least amount of time. There are many other organizations here, right? We're the platform for the clean energy movement. There are many organizations here that people can get involved with if they're interested in clean cooking, if they're interested in how they can bring renewables to their community, if they're interested in scaling up energy efficiency. Energy access is a massively important issue. There's over 1 billion people on the planet right now that still don't have access to energy and 3 billion that don't have access to clean cooking. So there's lots of ways to get involved. People can reach out to Sustainable Energy for All if they want to know more information about the kinds of organizations that are here. And if you're a leader and you want to move further and faster, then we want to hear from you too. That's what we do. This was a bold choice coming to Brooklyn, and also a bold choice in choosing the De Gaulle Greenhouse as our venue. But what we loved about it is the physical manifestation of Sustainable Energy for All. It's a flat platform, it's a blank slate, and that's what we are. We're the platform, we're the dance floor, so we're there to help our partners shine. We're there to help lift them up, amplify their work, help them tell their story, but we're there as the platform to lift this movement and make it go further and faster.
We'll be back in a moment.
Florida Memorial University's mission is to train global citizens through lifelong learning opportunities.
Florida Memorial in itself is a gem. I think that we've come on through a path of struggle, and that's something that we pride ourselves on.
I think the motto that we live by, which is leadership, character, and service, is one thing that I'm going to take with me throughout my matriculation of the rest of my life.
One thing I'll never forget that I've learned here is to persevere and to be diligent about what I've set my mind out to do.
We are proud of our long tradition and look forward to a future filled with promise for our students, our staff, our faculty, and our alums.
This is Guy Primus from the Virtual Reality Company, and you're watching The Color of STEM. It's more than just television, it's a movement, just like virtual reality.
Follow us on Twitter. What's next? For more information on The Color of STEM, go to our website, www.thecolorofstem.com. Like us on Facebook. STEM comes in all colors.
Welcome back to The Color of STEM. The Pittsburgh YWCA provides a structured but fun STEM education environment for preschoolers. The curriculum is interactive, and educational activities are uniquely structured to address the varied learning styles between girls and boys.
The Greater Pittsburgh Homewood Brushton YMCA focuses on students and a community that are significantly underrepresented in STEM education.
School didn't used to be for everyone. You know, it used to be just who could afford it and who had time to go. And school just used to be a place for the upper echelon of you know, socioeconomic status and all of that. But now school's compulsory, and it's been compulsory for 100 years or so, and we finally figured out that, like, oh, the things that work with with rich kids don't work with all the kids. The things that work with kids that have a lot of resources at home don't work with kids who are don't have as many resources. So you've got to be more engaging. You can't just say, okay, here's how it's done. You've got to do it. Because a lot of times in school, you sit down for a long time and you take a lot of notes and you see what other people have done doing stuff. And when you see who invented it and when you see who started it, they don't look like you, you know? That guy is an old white guy who's been dead for a long time, and I'm not a white guy, you know? That was very true for me. It was men did all the inventing, and I'm a girl, and there weren't any girls doing anything, so that must not be what I was supposed to do. And so instead of saying, here's who invented it in the programs that we run, we say, you do it. You know, they don't have to envision themselves doing something because they are doing it. If you're talking to 4-year-olds, what are 4-year-olds into? 4-year-olds are really into bubbles. So let's start there, but the groundwork, what we want to get with that is talking about the idea of science as asking questions and investigating what's true about something. So the lesson that we do today is where the kids investigate what bubbles can and can't do in service of a larger goal, which eventually they would get to design and create their own bubble wand with a specific task in mind. So can you create a bubble wand that will create 10 bubbles with one blow? Can you create a bubble wand that will make a bubble as big as your head? Things like that. But the first step in any process of creating something, of engineering something, is asking about it and figuring out, what do you know? What do you not know? What have other people done? But rather than, okay, let's do a PowerPoint about what do we know about bubbles, like, let's do it. So we do it in this lesson. So the kids, there are different bubble wands there, and they each get 2 different things that they're testing. So for example, can a bubble bounce and can a bubble stretch? And so they've got a very narrow goal. And that also teaches them a little bit about the scientific process, that when you are testing something, you have a hypothesis, you test that one thing, and then you figure out what the outcome is of it. So we're giving them sort of a groundwork with that as well. So they've got some narrow tests that they're doing, and then they share that information at the end. The more access that kids have to things, the more they will move themselves in that direction. So if you're at a school and you have a whole bunch of different short story programs and poetry programs and art programs, then kids have a lot of access to that and they feel encouraged, they have success in that, and then they move towards that. If you're in a school where you have a lot of access to science and technology and computers and math, and it's fun and they can find success at that, then they'll move in that direction. So our goal at the YWCA is to really make STEM programs ubiquitous throughout Pittsburgh, so that if a kid thinks science is cool, there's a place for them to go and do it. First step is just making sure that they have constant access to high quality materials, high quality lessons, high quality stuff to do to engage them in that. If they haven't seen science and they haven't seen engineering growing up, they're not suddenly going to get to high school and be like, yeah, engineering, I'm into that. If they haven't done it before, they won't know. So you've got to give them really constant access to that. And then when you get into that middle school, high school realm, upper elementary, you start to show them, okay, so you really like this, what can you do with it? It takes a village to raise a child, and it takes a whole bunch of people coming together and collaborating to give a kid everything that there is in the world. The world is a bigger place now than it used to be because we're so interconnected. So let's use that connectivity to pool our resources, both mental and physical, and put together hands-on, engaging, age-appropriate STEM curricula for kids that you can have access to at no cost. You know, everybody's strapped for cash right now, so let's do science with kids for free.
We'll be back in a moment.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jennifer Cohen. I'm the site director for SMASH at UC Berkeley. I'm passionate about changing the stereotype image of STEM, and I am proof that STEM comes in all colors.
Like us on Facebook. For more information on the color of STEM, go to our website, www.thecolorofstem.com.
They say the path chosen today prepares leaders for tomorrow. So I chose academics, excellence, and a diverse culture. My choice was clear. I am a graduate of Morgan State University.
Did you know that Morgan State University has educated more than half of the African American engineers, educators, and healthcare professionals in Maryland?
The Color of STEM is more than television. It's a movement. Creating this series has been a journey that has gathered what we call the Color of STEM family across the country. Our mission is to produce, promote, and distribute content on multiple platforms that inspires and encourages our youth in the area of STEM.
That's what we do.
For more information on the Color of STEM, go to our website, www.thecolorofstem.com.
Welcome back to The Color of STEM. The Color of STEM continues.
When Chris Redlitz entered San Quentin Prison as a guest speaker, he was impressed with the men's desire to learn. His idea was to create a technology accelerator inside the prison, the last mile.
Yeah, we started the program as an entrepreneurship program, and the goal really was to give them a sense of how business had changed, how technology had changed since they'd been incarcerated, and many of the men at the time had been behind bars more than 10 years. And many had not been on the internet. So we really started as an entrepreneurship program, teaching them about business skills, how to create a business, how to write a business plan, then how to pitch that in front of a group of people at a demo day inside prison. That's really how we started it, and the response was phenomenal. Just the idea that these guys were able to pursue something that they were passionate about was really something that I didn't expect. And some of those are turning those into businesses today. But just to see them be able to articulate what they were passionate about, be able to express themselves, have some hope and confidence that they took into the marketplace. So many of those first graduates now are in the marketplace and doing extremely well. What we did about 4 years into the program, we actually introduced a coding program that taught men and now women to be software engineers, which seems like a big leap, but and many people said, no way you can teach this community and this population to be coders, but we've proven them all wrong, that these guys and now women are doing extremely well, some now in the marketplace as software engineers. And many starting from zero to becoming really competent in JavaScript, building websites, and you know, it's pretty amazing to see. You're going into a place that, especially a place like San Quentin, that looks very ominous. It has death row. Most of the guys in our program come from really difficult backgrounds. Many are convicted of violent crimes. So obviously there's some apprehension there, but we have a very strict vetting process, and this has become a very aspirational program. And to actually get to San Quentin, you have to be a good citizen, and you have to work your way there, because it is the place that you want to go if you're incarcerated in California. There are many, many more programs in San Quentin than any other prison. There's a prison university there. Guys that walk the yard in San Quentin have earned their right there. There is a whole respect level that doesn't exist in other prisons. Well, tech is what we know. I mean, tech is our background. We've been involved in tech for 20 plus years. We have a great community there. We have a great network. And we know that it's a teachable skill that doesn't require a formal education. It's also a teachable skill that doesn't necessarily have to deal with background checks and doesn't have to deal with some of the traditional things that you do when you're employing people. And you can work remotely. I mean, we have a lot of companies in our portfolio that outsource to Eastern Europe. They don't even know the coders that are doing their work. All they know is the quality of work that they're producing. So why shouldn't it be here? If we can teach these guys to be able to produce great work, then it shouldn't matter what their background is. The response in Silicon Valley has been great. You know, we started with some startup companies like Rocket Space and Grove Collaborative, small startups that really knew me and took a chance to take some of our graduates and give them jobs. They've done extraordinarily well. Rocket Space, I think, has had 5 graduates that have worked there, 2 right now. Kenyatta Leal is one who's now an operations manager there. The word spread that these guys actually do great work. They have great work ethic. And so we've had companies reach out to us saying, we'll definitely want to hire some of your graduates. And we're moving up the stack now. We're moving to larger companies, some very well-known companies that we're in discussions with now that I'm confident this year will place some of our graduates. And I think it's going to break that ceiling, so to speak, and it's going to open things up for many, many more that could take advantage of this. Silicon Valley lacks diversity. So, that's an area that we're going to do our little part to help. The outpouring of interest from many states across the country is there. I think we've talked to 19 states now about adopting the program, but they all have the same challenges, like we're bringing this new technology in and we're not ready for it. So I think we just have to be patient about building that, and we're trying to set a sort of prototype of how that works in San Quentin and be able to replicate that across the country.
More from The Color of STEM in a moment.
Follow us on Twitter. What's next? The Color of STEM is powered by iSTEM, cultivating ideas into solutions. The USA Science and Engineering Festival, the nation's largest celebration of STEM. And the ARL Network. The Color of STEM is more than television. It's a movement.
Savannah State University is rising to this challenge, developing progressive, knowledgeable, and skilled graduates uniquely qualified to tackle the needs of the global marketplace.
My dream is to be an automotive engineer.
My dream is to eventually work for the CIA.
I came to Savannah State to pursue my dreams to be a doctor.
My dream is to become a producer.
Since I was a child, I always dreamed of being a successful businesswoman on the global level.
The university fosters learning and personal growth in a student-centered environment that celebrates our African American legacy while nurturing a diverse student body.
Savannah State is a hidden jewel simply because we have a very high quality standard of education here.
Accredited by the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools, SSU offers 5 graduate and 26 undergraduate degrees. We tell our students they can get anywhere from here, and you can be part of that journey.
Welcome back to The Color of STEM. The Color of STEM continues.
Our global next generation of youth cyber journalists had a chance to sit down with author Thomas Friedman, an American journalist, author, and 3-time Pulitzer Prize winner.
As a millennial, I've never used a typewriter, and I've had a smartphone since the 6th grade. And last year, the millennials have surpassed the baby boomers. So now that you're a part of the generational minority, I have a couple questions for you.
That's good. Go ahead.
What words of wisdom do you have for the next generation, both in the United States and around the world, locally and globally, who have never known any time in their lives without the internet or a cell phone?
I would say, just generally speaking, Leslie, more will be on you. And therefore, because you need to be a lifelong learner. So when you're out of college or out of high school, more is going to be on you. Therefore, those values of grit and persistence and self-motivation are going to be very, very important. So those are a few things that come to mind.
Okay. My second question is that I've heard you say in a recent interview that being average is officially over.
Right.
Could you express that in a way that millennials can understand and relate to?
Sure. Well, there was a time, before your smartphone and before our laptops, and when there was something in America back in the 50s and 60s. It was called the high-wage middle-skill job. So you could have high wages, relatively high wages, with middle skills, because you weren't competing against machines, robots, and people from India or China. There were walls, protecting you from them, and there were strong unions in this country. And the unions could be strong because the walls were high. So there wasn't that competition. And the pace of change was just slower. But as the pace of change quickened, And as the walls to competition came down, that thing we call the high-wage middle-skill job, it disappeared. So now there's only a high-wage, high-skill job or a low-wage, low-skill job. And therefore that thing that was average, you know, that sort of average skills could give you an average income that would give you an average house. So you could have 2.0 average kids and work an average number of years and have a perfectly average retirement and a wonderfully average funeral. That whole engine is really gone. And so everyone's got to find their unique extra. Everyone's above average at something. The key is to find what that is and really try to bring it.
In an era of both political and economic change, what specifically can the millennial generation do right now, today, to help this nation, to help make this nation and the entire planet a better place to live?
The most important thing for your generation to understand is that the internet is actually an open sewer of untreated, unfiltered information. Oh, it's got gold and diamonds in there. It's also got old cans, dirty boots, mud and muck. And it worries me sometimes when I meet young people who say, well, Mr. Friedman, I read it on the internet. As if that settles the bar bet, you know, because it comes in this patina of technology on your cell phone, on your laptop. There's a tendency to think that it's actually true. And I think your generation, much more than mine, is going to have to learn how to think horizontally. That if I read something on the internet, how do I actually verify that? Where do I go on Google to find out whether that's actually true? So I didn't have to worry about that if I watch Walter Cronkite on CBS News. If I read the New York Times, I don't have to worry about it. Again, we make mistakes, but we aren't out actually to fabricate things. Your generation is subject to lots of news organizations that are actually out to fabricate things, to make you stupid, or to make you think things that you shouldn't, that are politically unhealthy and maybe physically unhealthy. And therefore learning how to live in a world where there's this fire hose of information coming at you, but a lot of it is actually not accurate. How to get the best out of it and protect yourself from the worst. It's going to be very important to be a healthy citizen.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
That's The Color of STEM for today. Keep watching The Color of STEM, where we show you that STEM makes a difference, and so can you. See you next time, and think about STEM.
For more information on The Color of STEM, go to our website, www.thecolorofstem.com.